Cool, my battery died and it's already dying again. So we'll see. So this is going to be a little bit of a different kind of video, as you can see, and probably as you can see by the title. I have never actually on this channel talked about my coming out story. I posted my coming out song and I kind of wanted to do sort of a anniversary video talking about my coming out story, and then I think next week I'm going to post another video, like a singing video of me doing that song that I first posted. I didn't imagine that this many people would like the song and like the lyrics and like the words, but looking through the comments and reading what all of you guys have said on there has been so awesome, and no negativity at all. It's all been positive, and I think that that is so cool. And I'm so grateful for everyone that has liked and subscribed to this channel, and it just really means a lot to me, and I'm so glad that my song was able to help people. But I'm so honored that people were able to use it to help them come out, and I have no words. So thank you. For this video, I wanted to just talk about my coming out story and my experience. In that first video I posted, my coming out song, that definitely at the time was the way that I was able to express myself when I was trying to deal with all my feelings. But now, being almost 4 to 5 years later, I am so much more comfortable with myself and so much more confident in who I am, and I'm able to talk about it and able to share my experience. So let's get into it. I guess I'll start all the way back in elementary school. I always knew that I was gay. Looking back at it now, I think it just took me a really long time to come to terms with my sexuality. The way that I would look at boys was always so similar to all of my girlfriends, but I never really knew how to explain that. Whenever they would look at boys and whenever they would talk about boys, I would always relate to them, and I would always kind of agree with them, but not understand why I did, because I knew that I was supposed to like girls, and I knew that I was supposed to be a certain way. And I think at such a young age, it's hard to deal with that, and it's hard to accept that, because you don't really know what's going on and you don't really know how to express your feelings. So it took me a really long time to kind of come to terms with my sexuality, and I didn't actually come out until I was 18, my freshman year in college. I, throughout middle school and high school, was still kind of struggling with my sexuality. And in high school, I met this one girl. We were in the same musical theater class, and I thought that she was really cute and I liked her. And so one thing led to another. We started dating, and I really, really, really started to kind of like fall in love with her. And I know that's silly to think about, you know, falling in love with someone in high school. But it happens, and we just connected really well. And we had a really good sort of relationship. We were able to laugh, and we were able to make jokes, and you know, we were very similar. We had so many things in common, and to this day, she's still my best friend. We were dating on and off all throughout the rest of high school. I think I met her my junior year, she was a sophomore, and we kind of dated on and off all the way up until I graduated and I went to college. I went to Chico State, and Chico was only an hour and a half away from my hometown growing up. So I was able to come home a lot and visit her, and she came up to Chico and visited me. And so our relationship was still on and off, but I'd say we were pretty much dating. But in one of the periods where we weren't together, I met this one girl, and she was a part of the same friend group that I had made when I moved there. And so I was living in the dorms, as you do your freshman year of college. I definitely recommend it. If you are going to college and you aren't sure if you want to live in the dorms or not, do it, because you will meet a ton of friends. But she liked me, and she had a crush on me, and I thought that she was really pretty, and I thought she was cute, and so I was like, you know what, like, I think it's time that I find a new relationship, and I think it's time that I kind of move on and try something different. This is my freshman year of college, and I want to really kind of just like be my own person and explore other things. After we had spent a lot of time together and we were really getting to know each other and we liked each other, we were hanging out one night, and I had taken her back to my dorm room. I won't go into detail, but things happened, and at that moment, I knew that this wasn't right for me. Throughout mine and the girl that I was dating in high school, throughout our relationship, it had always been kind of rocky as far as like the intimate stuff goes. She would always get really upset with me because I never really expressed a lot of intimacy with her. I would only go so far, but I wouldn't really explain why, and she thought it was because I didn't like her. But I knew that that wasn't true, because I knew that I liked her and that I loved her, but I couldn't kind of understand why I wouldn't go to that, wouldn't go that distance with her and be that intimate with her. And so when I met this other girl in college and it got to that point where we were getting really intimate, I also couldn't, get to that point. So I knew that it wasn't the girl that I was dating in high school, and I knew that it wasn't this new girl that I met in college. I knew at that moment that it was me, and there was something about me that wasn't allowing myself to go that far. I kind of just had this like epiphany. I just told myself that, you know what, you're gay and that's okay, and it's time that you really start to figure it out, and it's time that you really accept it, and we move on and we go from here, because you can't keep doing this to yourself. It's because I was gay that I wasn't able to be intimate with these girls. I was frustrated with the fact that I kept putting myself in these situations, and I knew that at that moment I needed to figure this out, and I needed to deal with this, and I needed to stop hiding it, and I needed to stop pushing it to the side, and I needed to really accept myself. Really soon after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to come out. I'm going to come out not only to all my friends, but I'm going to come out to my family, and I'm going to do it now. Shortly after, I came out to all my friends, and I came out to my parents. But the first person that I told was my girlfriend in high school. She immediately was super supportive, just ready to be there for me, asking how can she help and what can she do. And I'm so grateful to have a friend like that in her. And the reason why I think we connected so well when we were in high school is because we just had that relationship, that mutual support and love for one another. And it's why it was so confusing for me in high school, because I did genuinely love her because we had that amazing relationship. But I knew that deep down I couldn't love her in the way that, she wanted me to. And it was just because I was gay. And so when I told that I was gay, I think that made a lot of sense to her. And it allowed her to realize why our relationship was a little bit rocky and was it just lacked intimacy. After I'd come out to her, I decided that I wanted to come out to my parents, and I'd come out to my other friends after that, and that was really easy, and I'm lucky to have such supportive, amazing people in my life. It is something that I definitely don't take for granted. And my parents are the same way. When I came out to my parents, Katie was with me, and her name's Katie, I'm just gonna say it because that's easier. And I called up my mom and I told her that I needed to talk to her. Her and my dad were grocery shopping and they were coming home, and I called her on the phone crying, saying that, Katie's with me, I need to tell you something. Don't worry, she's not pregnant. It's something totally different. And at that moment, my mom knew what I was gonna tell her, but she didn't say anything until they got home. And so my mom and me got into the car with Katie, and she started driving, and basically I started crying. And I had told her that I don't know how else to say this, but I'm gay. And I couldn't finish my sentence after that, and because I was crying so hard. And she just kind of like grabbed my hand and she was like, I know, and I've always known. She's like, I've known since you were little, and it's okay. I love you, and I will always love you no matter what. And that, is obviously, I still get emotional now talking about it, but that's something that, you're always sort of scared of when you're going to come out to your parents. Even if you know that they're going to be supportive, you still have that doubt in your mind that what if they're not? And what if this doesn't go as well as I hope it will? But I have such amazing supportive parents. And like I said, I am so grateful to have people in my life that are supportive, because it's not the case. And there are a lot of people out there that really struggle with finding someone that they can talk to and finding someone that is going to support them and be there for them. And so I will never, ever, ever take that for granted, because I'm very, very, very lucky to have those people in my life. And so after I came out to my mom, she said that I think you need to tell your dad. Katie went home, and I went into my parents' bedroom with my mom and my dad, and I sat down, and same sort of situation with my mom. I didn't know how else to tell my dad. Like, you never really have a sentence that you can like start with to say that like you're gay. So I just told him, I don't know how else to say this, but I'm gay. And again, I started bawling, crying, and all my dad did was just come over and hug me. And he said such like, gosh, it's still so emotional. He said, what he said was, you are so brave, and you're more of a man than I will ever be, and I love you no matter what. And that was such an awesome thing to hear. A couple months later, I finally told my sister, after it was a lot for me to come out to my friends and my parents and everyone all at the same time, right when I had kind of accepted myself. So I took a couple months to really just like relax, let everything settle down. At first, I was a little bit hesitant on how I was going to tell her, just because she was so young. And at 12, I just wanted her to be able to really understand what it is to be gay and what it means to be gay. And we were driving to the dentist, just us, and I had told her that I was gay. And I mean, she said as much as she could say for being a 12-year-old. She just said, I love gay people, and I love you. And I mean, I didn't expect her to really say anything, because I mean, it's just a lot to take in, I think, especially that young. And all I did was basically just explain to her that being gay is not something that I chose. It's who I am, and told her that she may hear things about me, and people may say things to her about me, or say things to her for being supportive of me that are not nice, and that are not kind, and that are hurtful and hateful, and that she just needs to know that unfortunately there are people out there in this world that are not okay with me and not okay with people that are gay. And it may be hard to hear, but you just need to be strong. Hopefully 10 years from now, things will change and it will get better, and it's already getting better. There is one thing that I did leave out, and when I tell people my coming out story, I normally leave this out until the end, because it sort of kind of confuses people. Basically, when I was 15, before I had really been super intimate with any girl or whatever, I had met this boy, and he was a transferred student into our high school, and he was also in my musical theater class with Katie, but this is before me and Katie had our relationship. And we kind of connected really well, and we became really good friends really fast. We were just instantly friends, and it was this sort of like inseparable relationship that we had. We literally hung out with each other 24/7. There came a point in our relationship where we did get really intimate, and we did get close, and we were super intimate, and I think you can imagine what that means. And so because of that, we kept it a secret, and we didn't tell anyone, and we didn't even really talk about it. It was just something that we did, and it was just a part of our relationship. And I didn't honestly really think much of it. To me, it was sort of normal, and I hate that word, because what is normal? But for me, for the first time, it just felt right, and I couldn't explain why it felt right, but it did. And me being 15 years old, how are you supposed to fully understand these emotions when you have society telling you that you're not supposed to do the things that we're doing and you're not supposed to be intimate with a boy because you're a boy. This lasted for about a year, our relationship. We were inseparable, and I always spent the night at his house because he was a guy, and I had told my parents that, oh, he's just a friend. So of course I was able to spend the night at his house. It lasted for about a year, and it kind of ended really bad. We got to a point where I think we started to feel like we needed to talk about it and we needed to address what was going on. And I think that was really hard for us because I was now 16 and he was 17. He was a year older than me. And I think for any 16, 17-year-old dealing with something like that you never talked about, was hard. And unfortunately, we didn't deal with it in the best way possible. And he was not the nicest person to me and kind of blamed our whole relationship on me. That was a lot for me to deal with just because I myself didn't really understand what was going on and I didn't understand our relationship. I really felt this connection with him that I had never felt with anyone else before, and part of me didn't want to lose that, but I also felt like we were at a point where we didn't want to do it anymore just because I think we're struggling with how we were going to deal with it. So we just decided to not, and we decided to stop. And unfortunately that led to us not being friends. We stopped talking to each other. We stopped texting each other. We just erased each other from our lives as much as we could because we were still in some of the same classes in high school because we did choir and musical theater together. But our relationship just ended. And that's when I met Katie. And we obviously started to date. And the relationship that I have with Katie was so awesome. And I started to have these really deep feelings for her that I was like, you know what? Maybe that relationship with that guy wasn't me. Even though I knew that it was, and even though I knew that it was right, I didn't want to accept that. And I was like, here's this girl who I love, I think, and I want to be with her. And so that was just something that happened, and I'm just going to ignore it and forget about it. Because I found this girl that I love, and I really want to be with her. At the time, that's what helped me ignore the fact that I was gay. When obviously I was. But I just didn't want to deal with it. Now, years and years and years later, I'm 22 years old. I am able to look back at all those experiences in my life and look back at the relationship that I had with him when I was 15 and know that that was me. And our relationship that we had was the relationship that I want now in the future. Now that I'm out and open, I want to be able to meet someone and be that intimate with them and be able to, love them in the way that I think that we loved each other. And I wish that I had accepted myself at that young of an age because I feel like I've done so much growing, but I wish that I could have really just been me who I am right now my whole life. It's hard, and it just sucks that we have to kind of deal with this sort of unfortunate society. But like I said, things are getting better. And I know that eventually there's going to be a future where kids who are gay and kids growing up who are gay are always going to be able to be open and out, and they're not going to have to worry about hiding and lying and having to come out. I can't wait for there to be a day where coming out isn't a thing anymore and people don't have to do that because they're always just able to be who they are. But yeah, that's my coming out story. I hope you guys can relate. If you can, I'd love to hear other stories that are similar. I'd also love to just hear your stories. I love when people tell me about their situation and about what happened to them, and I love to help too. I think it's been awesome to read the comments on my coming out song video and to hear what people have gone through and what they've been through and how I've helped them with that video. So, please feel free to leave comments and tell me your story because I would love to read that. This video has probably been kind of long now, longer than I expected, so Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much and I can edit this down to something short, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it all the way through, I hope that this was interesting. If you did, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and I really just appreciate everyone that has been subscribed to my channel and watching my videos. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just very happy. So thank you, and I will see you guys later. Bye. My camera died again. That's what I get for getting a camera that takes batteries. So you suck.